Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Let It Rip Sports. We have a series, ladies and gentlemen. Cavs, Golden State Warriors tied 2-2. Of course, the Golden State Warriors beat the Cavaliers in Game 4, 108-82. But before we get into what the Cavaliers did or didn't do and what the Golden State Warriors did do, allow me to pose a question to you, ladies and gentlemen, that was posed to me that I didn't really think about until today. Why aren't we flaming Stephen Curry? He's a freshly minted MVP who's had a subpar final so far. He has 22 points, 27 points, 19 points, and 26 points. And a game in which he got busted by Dellavedova for 20 points. And you lose game 3. If you guys don't know which game Dellavedova got 20 points. 20 points to Delly? Good old Delly getting you buckets? Come on, guys. If that had been LeBron James getting busted by a guy who's mainly known for his scrappy play and defense, we would be flaming this man incessantly at point blank range. But Stephen Curry's like, what's wrong with Stephen Curry? Is it the fall that he had in the previous series? What's going on? What is Dellavedova doing so remarkable to give Stephen Curry such a bad game? But when it's LeBron James, he's like, oh, he's not clutch. He can't put the team on his back. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Don't believe me? Let's take a look back into last year when the Miami Heat lost to the Spurs quite handily. We were flaming this man like, what's wrong with LeBron James? Why can't he shoot his team into the game? Why can't he put the team on his back? He's supposed to be the best player in the world. Or let's go back into when they were flaming him when they first played against the Dallas Mavericks, when he was with Miami his first year, when Jason Terry was giving him fits. We were flaming him saying, same old LeBron James that quit in the playoffs against the Celtics when he was with the Cavaliers. Same old LeBron James can't carry a team. Just wondering, why aren't we equally flaming Stephen Curry? But I just thought about that, just putting that out there into the YouTube verse. Now, let's get back to the analysis of Game 4. I believe Steve Kerr did a great job in exploiting a mismatch that's I think is gonna help Stephen Curry get more points and get easier points and become more of a factor. Implementing Shaun Livingston was huge in this game. First of all, he's 6'7", 6'8", which is a clear advantage over Dellavedova, who's 6'4". And anybody who knows me, I believe a firm factor in being good in the NBA is predicated, not solely, but partly predicated on you being tall. Don't believe me? Sean Bradley. Would he be in the NBA if he wasn't over 6'10"? No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. And there are a lot of other players who wouldn't be in the NBA if they were significantly shorter than what they are. But let me get back to the topic at hand. Shaun Livingston, 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", Dellavedova, 6'4", 6'5". So that's a huge height difference, especially when it comes to the guard position. And you saw that mismatch down low where he could post Dellavedova up, or he can make that extra pass that freed up Draymond Green, who, by the way, is having a bad series so far. But I'll get to that in the preview for Game 5. But that was a huge mismatch. Also, I'm a firm believer in that it's easier. Not easier, but you shouldn't have your primary point scorer be your primary ball handler, because it's significantly easier to defend for them when they have to bring up the ball and you have the defense set. But if you have somebody else like Shaun Livingston who can bring up the ball, you free Stephen Curry to roam around the court, and that is huge because it gets him open buckets. And we all know that Stephen Curry doesn't need much space, but if you can get Dellavedova or excuse me, J.R. Smith or whoever they throw at Stephen Curry have to run through screens and all he needs is a second to get the shot off. That is huge. So hopefully that gets him on track, and I believe they'll use more Shaun Livingston to free up Stephen Curry, and it allows better spacing, I believe, for the Golden State Warriors, which you saw in the third and fourth quarters, because Draymond Green was getting buckets. Andre Iguodala was getting open looks. Klay Thompson was getting easier buckets. Harrison Barnes wasn't getting as many contested shots. So it opens their spacing up and it makes them, I believe, more dynamic. So that's a great mismatch that Steve Kerr or slash adjustment that Steve Kerr implemented in this game, crucial game 4. Now, game 4, I believe, is going to be a foreshadowing of what's to come in this series for the Cavaliers, because you saw Dellavedova cramping up, you saw LeBron James cramping up, and I've had so many debates with Cavaliers fans and just basketball fans in general, said, "Oh my God, it's over. Look at what LeBron James is doing. He's averaging 40 points and almost a triple double." And I'm like, look at how many minutes he has to play to get that, and look how much energy he has to expend to get that. He's going to wear down as the series goes. Now, if the Cavaliers have won this game and taken a 3-1 lead, then okay, I can give you that. But man, the series is a dogfight now, and if it's a dogfight, it's going to favor the team who has more depth / more bodies. The Golden State Warriors. What have we been saying about them the entire year? They have depth. They have guys that can just interchange. Just throw at them, and it can go off for 15 to maybe 20 points. Who do the Cleveland Cavaliers have outside of LeBron James? And you saw when LeBron James had to take a break that the lead was extended to 12 points for the Golden State Warriors. And they said, hey, LeBron, you got to get back in the game, big guy, because J.R. Smith is struggling. He only had 4 points today. Dellavedova had 10 points. Mozgov, granted, he had a career-high game. But if you don't have somebody to give him the ball, and the best playmaker on that team is LeBron James, because you don't have Kyrie Irving anymore, you don't have Kevin Love. So who's going to be your playmaker? Who's going to set up open shots for everybody else? The next best player you have is J.R. Smith, but as I said, he's not having a good series. He's struggling offensively. So you really have LeBron James, and J.R. Smith. And you just... As much as we want to say the man's superhuman and he's 6'9", 260 and does remarkable things, at the end of the day, he still breathes, he still bleeds, and he still drinks Gatorade and or Powerade, depending on who the sponsor is. So, the longer the series goes and the longer it's going to be a hard-fought series, especially if they have to come back in terms of the Golden State Warriors did this in this game is that they started the game off good. In previous games, they started off and they had to come back and fight back in the fourth quarter and come back from a 11-point deficit, which they had to do in Game 3. This game, they didn't have to do that. So the Cavaliers had to expend more energy trying to get back into the game. And when you have limited bodies, that plays a factor. Now, I know they have a few days rest, but it's the accumulation of games in which you have to play virtually the entire game. And like I said, dogfight, I don't know. This series, I've said in the beginning, the Cavaliers are going to lose this series just because of lack of depth. But I'm confident that they're going to lose this series. They put up a valiant effort. Don't get me wrong, valiant effort. But it's pretty much all she wrote. Now, when I say it's all she wrote, I'm not going to say they're going to get blown out in every game. It's still going to be a dogfight, but it's pretty much over. And I would love to eat my words because I want to see the series go 7 games. I would love to see LeBron James win a ring, especially with this team, because then nobody can say that this man is not the best player in the game and not the most dominant player ever. But in my heart of hearts, the series is over. But I will love to see me be wrong. Love to see me be wrong. That's it for today, for this video. Please feel free to leave comments and or suggestions. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Eldridge Bell II. Congratulations to the Golden State Warriors and showing some heart and winning a road game. Congratulations.